Well, hey there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. Welcome, 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 and super happy to have you here for round one of my very own RedEyes $450 Dead in July tournament qualifiers for Group C, brought to you and sponsored by, for the very last month ever, Hunter of Gunman and Glacier Gaming. Huge shout out to those guys. They kept this tournament alive for the past year. But there's also some more shout outs brought to you and sponsored by not just Hunter of Gunman and Glacier Gaming, but also the amazing folks at Level Infinite, Lightspeed Studios, and Crafton. And we have got 3 rounds of action, mayhem, and strategy to get through today. But first and foremost, for those of you who aren't quite acquainted as to who I am, I'm RedEyes, your ever-lovable and adorably cuddly caster, bringing you that daily dosage of butt-kickery, tomfoolery, and all-around shenaniganism. We do have a stacked lobby, ladies and gents. But we will go ahead and get into that little slot list after we just go over the map here. So we're kicking things off with Erangel, the first map introduced to the game. Now, what do we need to say about a map like Erangel? Well, essentially, it's the off-bred love child of Sandhawk and Miramar, because it really is the perfect middle ground between those two extremes, which is going to leave it fairly reliant upon the flight path to determine what sort of early game we actually end up getting. And here we can see a not perfectly centralized flight path by any means. It's definitely going to be fairly eastern-oriented and a vertical one, but it's not a bad path because it's going to leave plenty of drop spots all open for the early game, especially around that military base, Novo, Milta Power, all the way up to Yasnaya, Severny, Stauber. There's a lot of options. However, it is going to exclude a lot of the western compounds such as Georgia Pole, Primorsk, etc. But already we're getting some early droppers, and of those early droppers, let's go ahead and discuss for just a brief moment who all is coming to the table today. So, without further ado, we've got the Lycans, B-Town, T-Boba, Overhaul, Zero Remorse, Team P-Noise, 007 Esports, Dark Esports, Realistic, Revenge, CN Eagles, Try Us, 9 Cents, Royals of War, Third Eye, and In Sync. All right, well, you know those In Sync people are definitely asking to get dad joked on here, but just to go ahead and get a brief eye, already we can see a potential early confrontation on the board. It would be between the likes of Royals of War and the opposition fairly close by here in Exceed. I believe that would be Exceed. Yes, and we got Escanor readily, aggressively pushing forward with that AK-47, that 7.62 Annihilator here, just desperately trying to get stocked up on utilities and resources, but he does already, at the very least, have level 1 armor going in his favor. Ooh, but there it is, a nade coming from the top story somehow. Oh, pardon me, actually probably from the lawn, from the on-looming threat from Exceed. We have Escanor taking minimal damage from that, but does take a little bit more afterwards, and here he has it, putting up his unfortunately, what could be his final stand at the very beginning of the game. With firing away with that AK-47, he's only got 2 extra clips after this round is drained. So he needs some assistance from his teammates and fast, as he is swimming in a pool of Exceed members. And Escanor getting the first knock, taking minimal damage in the process, but a little bit of damage taken to his vest. But realistically, the bullet depletion is the main concern in this position, especially considering the fact that he does not have a backup weapon. He has no secondary weapon. Oh, am I incorrect? I withdraw that previous statement, ladies and gentlemen. He is rolling readily equipped with an M4 AK combo. Ooh, what a rookie mistakes. Well, either way, we got Elite coming in and getting a back angle on Selfless and quickly taking him down with that Tommy gun. However, Revenge dished out from the hilltop as what's-his-name is firing down, taking Elite very far down to about 10% health. But as you know my spiel, if it's not enough for the knock and he's able to get that medkit off, then it's almost like it didn't happen at all, with exception to armor damage and bullet depletion. But take a look at his UMP ammo count. He's got just a little bit over 1 round left. So, yeah, the ammo depletion is a serious critical issue in early game steps. And as you can see there, in hot pursuit of this final member of Exceed. And unfortunately for them, that is a very rough hit for Exceed to start off early game, because they still aren't even at the ending portions of Stage 1 before they are reduced down to their final hope. And that is not exceeding expectations by any means. It looks like an excuse going off in the distance. And, ooh, Road to Death as well. So I'll tell you what, we are going to go ahead and switch on over to... Yes, Road to Death is going to be Team 20 here. And it's down to Kaji and Retire, but keep in mind they entered this match as only a three-piece here, so they already came in at a weakened standpoint in comparison to the full teams. And now, just like that, Retire had to retire, whether he liked it or not. It's down to the final hope, Kaji, with that UMP-45 DP combo. And we can see the Exceed member that we were just spectating getting another takedown, so he is making quite a final stand here. Matter of fact, we'll keep that up on the alt cam. And Kaji from the stair top, just firing away, trying to hold the opponent off on the first story, but there is no assistance coming his way, and he was outnumbered, outmanned, and outgunned. All right, well, in the alt cam, we can see, what's his name, just making his final stand as best as possible. And yeah, that is pre-render right there, where you can see his proximity to the opponents. And all the while, oh, what a monster nade! Allende just ended that guy in a split second. Martha Stewart from hell on that. Wow. What a very well-timed and placed nade. All right, so where's our next bit of action going to come from? It looks to be around the Yasnaya Pollyanna area, where members of Realistic could be potentially facing off against Zero Remorse. Now, I will get up both sides of the altercation on here because I don't believe we have another fight on the board. And as you can see, it's a slow play here for Zero Remorse. Ninja, Amor, Fiend, and Monkey all holding their own positions. Amor responsible for both of the team's kills. And here we go! Oh, Fiend is downed right then and there. And this is going to be a tough one. It's going to... Ooh, but keep in mind, their opponents here in Realistic, who we have up on the main screen, they're down to just a two-piece. They lost Bubblegum and Chocoberry early on, and Amor, woo, in a vulnerable position by cooking up that nade out in the open, suffers the consequences, and jelly is smeared all over him. Oh my god, these jokes are so corny. I'm cringing so hard. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're not aware, keep in mind, we are going to be giving away 2 600 UC codes over the course of the night, and Jelly finishes the job on Ninja right then and there. Quickly approaching Monkey. Oh, Monkey with the pre-fire, but ooh, he's about to face the consequences of it with that Vector. Vector with a very fast mag. So, ooh, but the Jelly is ended. And that is trouble right there. Luckily, Cheney coming in and saving the day there. Talk about that final moment coming in clutch. Well, it looks like we don't really have a lot of time to waste. We have members of Third Eye entering as a three-piece of Gunda, Jadon, and SUK here. And it looks like they could be in fairly close proximity to 007 Esports, as well as the northbound threat of, pardon me, In Sync. And we're hearing some shots being fired from Gunda here. On the alt cam, I think I'm going to, just for the sake of it, get eyes on members of Team 13. This is going to be CN, the CN Eagles. And they might be reasonably close to an altercation potentially. And if so, it would be from the southbound farm area where Royals of War, very split up here, is currently just trying to restock on resources and let those numbers dwindle. Ooh! Yeah, actually, we have another fight here on the board that I didn't see at the beginning. Looks to be Overhaul here in a 2v3 altercation or a 2v4 altercation. Tell you what, we'll pull that up on the main screen and get both sides of it. Actually, it's a 4v2 here. It looks like Matt, Kai, Draco, and Rosh still a full 4-piece with 1 kill so far to their name and looking in very good shape to put a real hurtin' on Overhaul. And they've already got another knock to add to the piece as Matt approaches the compound holder, Barbie. 4Babe, pardon me. MF4Babe. M4Babe. Wow, there we go. M4Babe. What are words? All right, well, Matt holding his own, but barely dodging that nade. It was just inches away from ending him right there. Oh, but nades thrown in retaliation from Draco, and those do significant damage there, taking 4Babe down to about half health, but able to restock on first aid there and get that health right on back up. But keep in mind, she is sucking up that blue zone damage here, and that is going to be a real imminent threat, especially as this match progresses. And I'll get more into that in just a moment after this fight is out of the way. Sorry about the multiple cams here. All right, 4Babe with the pre-fire, and if there's anything to pre-fire with, it's that 53-round clip getting that immediate takedown, but oof, cut right in her tracks there. But right into the thick of it, out of the frying pan into the fire we go. CN Eagle, or pardon me, CN Eagles. I was right. Shouldn't doubt myself. About to face off with NSYNC, and that is that. Void being taken down by Baby Tang right there and then. And that seems to be a pretty quick ending there for that one. Eagles have been endangered for a minute there. And ooh, NSYNC having enough trouble of their own as Lethal and Brian are both down, leaving everything reliant on Snipe and Noob X. And boy, oh boy, this is going to be a real conundrum considering the distance that they have from Royals of War. There's not much chance of getting that revive. And yep, Lethal has been sent right on back to lobby. Luckily, Noob X is revived. Luckily Brian is revived. And Noob, Brian, and Snipe are going to have to continue forward as a solid three-piece. Now, losing this member early on could put them at a bit of a hurdle here, so they're going to have to account for that, much like the two-piece that we were just previously watching, and not dial things back to a passive play style, but be on guard, be cautious, and ooh, sometimes you're just thrown into bad luck, and driving right in between multiple teams past multiple obstacles, one being 007 Esports and the other being Royals of War, and just taking an absolute onslaught of bullets. Luckily, the vehicle took most of that damage, but it looks like no time to waste because we got B-Town getting into the thick of it right here and now. B-Town moving forward as a three-piece. They've already lost Katri early on, leaving it reliant upon Daku, Jasa, and Kiddu. Kiddu holding position with that Scar L UMP. Jasa being shot down to half health, but luckily has the geographical cover here to get revived, or meted up, pardon me. What are words today? But let's go ahead and get it from both sides of the altercation here. They are up against the likes of RG, pardon me, this is Trias. My apologies, not RG. Trias. And this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out, because it's not that uneven of a fight, especially now. Actually, I take that back. Now it is a completely uneven fight. It is down to the last member of Trias, and so I will go ahead and switch over to that, just to make sure we get the action. P2 holding ground in position, awaiting that inevitable push and firing away hesitantly with that UMP-45 CQC Annihilator, but ooh, one nade thrown through the right window is going to be the whack-a-mole to end him. But here we see the same strategy again, this stair top paying off with that high ground in full effect. And I don't think, yep, P2 did not take a single bullet in damage there. But ultimately, Daku is able to retaliate and get some revenge for his fallen teammate, who he will be reviving right here and now. So, where's the next bit of blood going to come from? I'm going to go ahead and say probably maybe on this eastern portion of zone, maybe, where Chini and Jelly seem to just be holding position, but they're not. Ooh, pardon me. I thought that was going to be the closest, but it's actually going to be further down south, where members of T-Boba are preparing for a potential altercation against Dark Esports. And this would be interesting to see how it plays out, because T-Boba, a very solid, unified group here, not really leaving a lot of vulnerability out there and only spreading out to individual buildings, meaning this is going to tell me one thing. These guys are holding position. This is their strat, and this could spell real trouble for members of Dark if they are not prepared for this altercation. And given Noob's placement, I think that they are aware. As you can see, he's holding the background, getting Overwatch and scouting details for his teammates, as well as being that little extra coin in their back pocket, their fail-safe option. If the rest of Dark Esports, if on top Amrit and Ronaldo are downed, then it'll be Noob who has a potential shot at escaping and getting some extra placement points for the team. Which brings me to a great point now, ladies and gentlemen. While we are moving forward into the future of PUBG Mobile Esports, we're 5 years in. That means we are going to be updating the scoring structure as we have for the past few months. We are doing that brand new PMPL scoring format, meaning that it is going to be more elimination intensive, and placement will be getting less value and less placement slots. So what does that mean? It means we expect to see some more altercation intensive fights. some more CQC altercations, a little less of the holding position strategy as we move forward. Now, keep in mind, that is not to displace, you know, getting placement points. That they still are very, very weighted and a very significant factor. So by all means, do not take it for that. But while we have a brief moment of downtime, which is to be expected on large maps, which is going to be 2 out of 3 that we're doing today, we're going to have those pockets of silence. So while we have this moment, let's go over the format of this event. Now, we have 20 teams competing in the qualifiers, and of those 20 teams, only 4 teams per qualifier get to advance. We run 3 qualifiers, so that's 12 qualified teams to join the 8 invited Tier 1 professional teams, where they're all going to duke it out for that $450 prize pool on July 30th at 9 o'clock p.m. EST. Looks like Jassa off in the distance for the old gangsters. Oh, I apologize. I think he's actually filling in for a different... Yeah, this is interesting. Oh, it looks to be 2 tags per each, but is this... That is going to be quite... This is going to be... Yeah, this is B-Town using 2 members of Old Gangsters. That's going to be a little bit of a stumper for me at first, but no problem there. We got Jassa fairly close... I withdraw it. This spectator glitch, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. I am sorry. These sort of errors don't usually happen this frequently, but with this spectator glitch, it's almost, well, it's very difficult to see who's actually alive fighting without being fully zoomed in. Oh, boy. Well, trouble has found its way to Jadon of Third Eye. Now, keep in mind, Third Eye entering, again, as just a 3-piece, has just now had their first member knocked and quickly thirsted to follow, unfortunately. And Gunda, it could be soon to follow. He's going to make a desperate Michael Phelps. Beautiful dive finish. Very nicely done. Let's see how the audience is going to judge it. Audience, what do you say? Oh, wow. It looks to be a score of 10. Beautiful swimming. All right. Well, the sneaky water snake may live on yet, but, you know, I do see a potential trouble here for Dark Esports. Ooh. Oh, well, I caster cursed our little fish in the water there. He was taken down right before our eyes. Pardon me, right after we were switching away. What are words today? I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. But here we see a potential love triangle here, and actually maybe even a 4 to 5-way altercation in preparation here. And it could spell serious trouble for the likes of Dark Esports. And why do I say that? Because Dark Esports is surrounded on 4 angles by 5 teams, meaning that is literally up to a potential of 20 different angles and lines of fire that they would have to account for if worst came to worst. The worst case scenario were to happen. But it looks like Lycans are also pushing up to the party, and that is extra trouble because the one good advantage of this position here for Dark Esports, which, by the way, this position is not advantageous, but if there were to be a bright side to it, it's that they wouldn't generally have to account for their backside. And look at this zone. Half of it being water, that's a huge portion to not have to account for. So actually, I'm going to withdraw that previous statement. This positioning, while they are surrounded, is a bit of a gamble. And I think in this case, it did not really pay out well for Dark Esports, as they are just swimming in enemies here. They are the deli meat in this peanut butter and trouble sandwich. And yep, shots being fired now from the northbound threat of T-Boba. And yeah, so while I do think that the positioning that they have right now could be disadvantageous given the placement of other teams, I do think that that general strategy usually is one of the more effective ones to implement. And if you see here, they don't have to account for 180 degrees usually, unless there were a boat. Now, let's also look at the flip side. There's several other teams that have had that same idea. So that means that 007 could be a very real threat, but especially for Lycan Moon, Lycan Moon, holding that back angle, very formidable threat, and could actually attack from the backside. All right, well, excuse, down to Matt and Draco here. Kai being knocked before our eyes here through the window by members of Boba Tea. Matt, also, what was going to be originally his escape route or cover from bullet fire, ended up doing damage to him as that vehicle explodes, taking him down to half health and making him utilize one of his 3 first aids that he had. He's down to 2 now, and come in game is when those utilities are just the absolute crucial difference maker between life and death. Looks like we got Ronaldo of Dark Esports gaining a little bit of ground in proximity to the final member of Lycans here. Dark Esports Ronaldo trying to get Moon. And will the Moon set? I don't know. He's brought down to half health, making his desperate escape here, but driving into an open field is basically asking for an out of the frying pan into the fire. I don't know what all options he has. Not a lot. And looks like Ronaldo is going to get the kill after all. That candle was burning bright. All right. So we are reaching the concluding stages of round 1, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be all out bloodbath warfare from this point on. Are we ready for that in-game? Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, sorry about that. Getting both perspectives open here. And we can see Matt taking some damage from the back angle by Boba T, as well as a potential threat in front of him from the CN Eagles. Not to mention, pardon me, that's B-Town and T Boba. I'm getting them mixed up. Woo, okay, well, sorry about that. That is a rookie mistake, but especially towards B-Town, who I'm very familiar with. TB, BT, two totally different teams. My apologies. Well, B-Town is going to be reduced down to 3 members, Kidu, Jasa, and Daku, but they lost Katri fairly early on, so I don't think that they are really all too concerned about that. But here we see Dark Esports' Ronaldo, one of a full 4-piece, confidently moving forward into this little bit of building cover, but this is going to be where things thicken up a little bit here. Amrit holding position, Ronaldo taking some nade damage, being brought down to almost exactly half health here. Now, where is the most disadvantageous spot? I'm going to say, well, given the new placement, it's probably going to have to be, yeah, 007. But I also, again, see the reasoning for this placement. Again, that not having to account for 180 degrees in theory and generally is the way to go. But in this case, you know, it's kind of that catch-22 where everyone has that idea and it becomes completely the opposite of the reason you went to Occupied in the first place. Nope, this is not going to be the last month, Onyx. I appreciate you asking. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, we have some huge announcements in the works. We have secured future sponsorship, and I could not be more excited to share it. But, woo! When we kick things off into action for August, you guys are going to be impressed about the new sponsors. But, ooh, Ronaldo just wrecking into fish. That fish has been caught real quick, and that is trouble for P-Noise. But looks like Ronaldo swallowing karma in full swing there as that vehicle just burns him up. All right, we are getting into the final stages here for round 1. It's all out bloodbath warfare. As we were saying, B-Town is being reduced now to Kidu and Jasa. Not like to be able to secure any revives at this point. Case in point. And it looks like Draco of Excuse having a bit of trouble too. And there is no excuse for that. Excuse has a lot of experience in these events and knows how to play that in-game. But 007, they have a license to kill, but they also have that license to get killed. I don't even need to do that anymore. I totally have that scene or sound clip, and I still always forget. All right. Where is it gonna be? Oh, here we go. Here we go. It's that glitch. But we still have the CN Eagles dangerously close to 2 teams to their left, and actually the high ground holders will be T-Boba, and in front of them will be B-Town, TB, and BT. So let's go ahead and get B-Town on the alt cam here as we work our way into this final portion of round one and prepare for some in-game action. All right, we got Quinny Poo pushing up, trying to hold this high ground position, but as you can see, TB coming in guns a-blazing, but it's actually going to be a little unintentional teamwork between T-Boba and B-Town. Unintentionally giving each other a little bit of assistance and easing up the looming threat that was the CN Eagles. 2 Eagles shot down. It's down to Tony, and Tony does finish the job, taking Safety out of the equation. He is not playing it safe. After all, God, these jokes are so corny. All right, well, Tony, no time to heal. The vehicles are on him. Jassa with the high ground makes quick use of it and beautifully executed. And now down to the final 3 teams. It's a 2v1v1. Let's get it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, pardon me. Nero, with no health at all, desperately in need of some meds, finds a first aid just in the nick of time and is able to get that off, but using these utilities here, trying to enshroud himself in a cloud of smoke, use what cover he can, and maybe even potentially use the smoke as a distraction marker. But, you know, going to exemplify those importance of utilities come in-game, but it's not enough. Outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, and out-high ground in every sense of the word. B-Town with a very, very well-deserved win. Any way you look at it, ladies and gentlemen, that has got to be game over. But wow, what a performance by B-Town, putting up a very healthy 9 kills between 3 of their players, and 4 of those 9 go to Jassa alone. We got Pinoy's grabbing second place with 4 kills between Nero and Ketchup. We've got our crew in REV. This is going to be Revenge in third place with 5 kills, all going to Melly Lover. That's a heavy backpack for Melly. We got the CN Eagles securing 4th place and doing so with 13 kills. TB, Team T-Boba in 5th place with 3. 007 grabbing 6th place with 1 kill from Puma. Excuse in 7th with 6. Coming in 8th place, it's going to be Dark Esports with 6 as well. Royals of War in 9th with a pretty healthy 10 kills. We got the Lycan securing 10th with 2. 11th is going to go to Third Eye. 3 members, 0 kills. We got InSync in 12th place. Not so in sync as a team here, though. 2 kills, both of which go to Sky. We got Sense. Pardon me. Is that 9 cents? It is. Yes, 9 cents in 13th place with 1 kill from Lethal. We got members of RG. RG is, of course, going to be realistic. I'm not sure what the G stands for then. But RG in 14th place with 4 kills, 3 of which go to Jelly. Try Us grabbing 15th with 3 kills between Malbo and P22. Overhaul in 16th, but 0 kills to speak of. Zero Remorse in 17th with 2 kills from Amor. Exceed in 18th with 0. And 19th and last place goes to Road to Death with 1 kill to Prince. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now that is just 1 round down and out of the way. We still have 2 rounds of action, mayhem, and strategy ahead of us. Now, we've seen our participants on the very first map ever now of Erangel, but that's the map that's first, that was first introduced to the game. That's the one that they are, by all means, supposed to be most acquainted with, you know, most familiarized with, and most rehearsed on, most practiced on. But what's going to happen when we change up the geography a bit and take things to that dry, wide-open, giant, arid desert? I am, of course, speaking of Miramar, as we return for round 2 of my very own RedEyes $450 Dead in July tournament qualifiers for Group C, brought to you and sponsored by Hunter of Gunman, Glacier Gaming, Level Infinite, Crafton, and Lightspeed Studios in just a few short moments. Stick around. We'll be back soon, and we got those 2 600 UC codes to go. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to round 2 of 3 of my very own RedEyes $450 Dead in July tournament qualifiers for Group C, brought to you and sponsored by Hunter of Gunman, Glacier Gaming, Craft and Lightspeed Studios, and Level Infinite. Let's go ahead and get into it. It's Miramar for round 2. You all know my spiel. Let's go ahead and have a look-see at what sort of flight path we are actually working with. Well, here you see it. It is almost dead on, perfectly centralized flight path. Absolutely ideal for our participants, leaving them with basically the maximum, almost the maximum number of drop options available. The only, well, actually, having a little closer look, it's not quite, I guess it is perfectly centralized if you include all the way down to prison. Yes, it is. So it's the most drop options for participants, meaning that the odds of two teams landing next to each other are just going to be a bit slimmer. So we might be left with a bit of a slower start than, we would prefer. But as we know, that tends to be a part of PUBG Mobile is, sometimes you are left with bits of silence and pockets of in-between time. But not this time, because we are already going ahead and getting some action. Let's go ahead and get into it. Sorry about that intro. But, yeah, it looks like we've got members of Try Us in pretty darn close proximity on the alt cam and pretty close proximity to members of Team 19. That is going to, of course, be none other than Excuse. Here on the main screen, we can see Zero Remorses Amor in a world of hurt here, brought down to extremely low health, lucky to be up at all, just dealing with the looming threat ahead of him. That is, of course, trying to switch over to him, none other than Revenge. And, if there's ever a team that needs some revenge, it's Revenge, because they did not fare so well in round 1, if memory serves correct. I could be a little, I could be misremembering, but I don't believe that they finished where they were hoping to. And so that also could probably be said for Zero Remorse, if her memory serves. So neither of these two teams can really afford that early game elimination. So I can definitely understand it and empathize with this hesitation that both teams are exerting. So I will switch this up to the alt cam, I think, and we'll go ahead and get the other potential altercation on the main screen. So Try Us, still swarming around, but a little bit more solidified together than Excuse. However, that could be their disadvantage in a map as open as Miramar. But we also saw something else in the kill feed. Let's see who's lost a member. Yeah, it's going to be Team P-Noise suffering a rough hit early on. Now, keep in mind, this team did very well in round 1. I believe that they finished somewhere around like 2nd or 3rd. So they have a lot of momentum built up for them. They don't want to undo all the progress that they made, especially not at the beginning of a match. So I can understand, while, yes, you did have a great start, you want to keep that momentum going, but you also have to be cautious. Every map is entirely different. Different geography means different strategies need to be implemented. And what's worked so well on a map like Erangel might not be the ticket for that dry open desert of Miramar or the lush condensed forest of Sandhawk. So you have to be able to have some adaptability, especially in play zone context specific strategies. Meaning that, yeah, you can't play each match the same just because it's on the same map. Meaning if you do Erangel the same way every time you do Erangel, it's not going to pan out well. And these are kind of, they sound almost belittling to even say that to the listeners. But you all know, as we all do, sometimes the common sense stuff is overlooked. And especially when it comes to Erangel in particular. Erangel is kind of this jack of all trades cluster melting pot of teams and strategies. So, and also geography. All right, so not a lot happening, guys. Basically, a little bit of downtime, even with this close proximity. But here we see Ninja just so close to the high ground holders against him in, I believe that was Revenge. Yes, it was. in Revenge, and maybe a potential push for Monkey, but maybe not. Ninja, living up to the name of Ninja, doing some hardcore parkour, getting an angle, trying to catch a line of sight on Stars of Revenge, but no such luck. So tell you what, guys, you know, you all know my spiel, but if you are unaware, we are doing 2 600 UC codes tonight to give away. Now, that code is going to be redeemable only at the link at the top of the YouTube chat. So let me make sure that we are no longer... Oh, we are still streaming on Twitch. That is my bad, because I forgot to take that down. But if you are watching on Twitch, I'm sorry. Rules are rules. This is a... this is a YouTube UC giveaway thing tonight, so you have to be over there. And if you are interested, switch over there now. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Otherwise, deuces. All right, now it's just us. All right, it's just us. We can speak freely now, YouTube. All right, so, well, as per the usual routine, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't yet, get that link out and ready, the one that's pinned to the top of the chat, because it's time for our very first 600 UC code giveaway of the night. And here it is. Dun, 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 dun. CKEQZOKZBHJ. Redeem that. It's first come, first serve. The link is pinned to the top of the YouTube chat. We got a potential fight brewing between Excuse and Try Us. We'll see if they will try them. All right. Let's go ahead and get that code off the screen. All right. Little bit of a waiting game between these two teams, and it seems to be kind of the theme here. I don't think we've lost, but we haven't lost but three people the entire game so far. So definitely a slower start than I anticipated, given the proximity that the players had to a lot of other teams. For example, Try Us and Excuse. We had, pardon me, that's going to be T-Boba dealing with Exceed. Actually, T-Boba is about to be dealing with Exceed pretty hard. Let's go have a look-see. And on the alt cam, we will keep up the Try Us Revenge potential altercations. All right, well, we got Exceed, what's his name here? And that actually is kind of against the rules, but I'm not sure if I've made that abundantly clear. But I'm not sure what his name is, but he's holding ground with that Car 98 6X combo up against multiple members of T-Boba in front of him, and now catching wind of RG coming in from the side. RG, Team Realistic, quickly approaching, driving in between the two teams, and will they be able to get through successfully? Genie is still moving on. Oh, but oh, wow, I was sure that what's his name was going to be able to get that takedown, but wow, an M24 to the dome, swallowed firsthand. If you weren't aware of the problems of Miramar's geography, you have to be able to account for not just your immediate, but your distant surroundings, and there's a case in point. Tactics talk. Tactic talk with RedEyes. All right. Well, now, just in a brief few moments, it looks like T-Boba has become the deli meat in a potential peanut butter and trouble sandwich, with just kind of sandwiched in between two teams here. But waiting games are a little bit more tolerant when you do have those walls of cover. However, you got to be careful, because sometimes those walls of cover can just be lining you up for a nade. Be on guard. Tactic talk with RedEyes. Clipped. All right, so where's our next bit of action going to come from? I mean, Zero Remorse and Revenge have been kind of nose and nose for a little bit of time now. Caleb literally just swimming in a pool of Revenge members. Looks like his teammate Ninja has been taken down and knocked. And now Melly Lover here being retaliated on by a high ground holder, Caleb, with that M416 UMP combo, dealing out some damage. Now, you have to be on extra on guard here because Melly Lover was responsible for a huge number of her team's kills, if not all of the teams. I believe she had 5 of the team's 5. So definitely a heavy hitter, even as a solo, and not to be underestimated. Looks like finally some... Oh, well, Caleb is quickly knocked, and that is going to leave it reliant upon Ninja, Monkey, and Amor. We got Amor quickly approaching. Looks like Monkey is doing some overwatch and cover fire, and Caleb is thirsted. On the alt cam, we will pull up the fight here where Excuse is surrounding members of Try Us. Now, this is actually a great positioning for members of Excuse. They are perfect. Ooh, Ninja downed on the main screen. And I'm sorry to do this, ladies and gentlemen, but this is a great point to bring up here. So we are going to switch our attention over to this other fight here, where Excuse is literally in a very well-positioned 2-1-1 split around members of Try Us, and a potential to enact what I like to call the BOA method. As you all know, if you've seen my streams before, the BOA method is a strategy that I'm not sure what the official terminology is, and I've never heard anyone correct me with it, so maybe it doesn't. But it's essentially a 1-1-1-1 split, a 2-2 split, or a 2-1-1 split around your opponent, where you simultaneously constrict upon them and fire, engaging at the same time, providing that panic factor to the opponent. And that is good for numerous reasons, because it's usually that panic factor is where mistakes are made, but also for the other reason that they cannot simply, in the brief split second of reaction time, retaliate on 4 different angles at once. It's just not going to happen. And so, yeah, you're catching that panic factor. You're catching the numerous angles on your opponent. But why is it not implemented all the time? Why do we not see it every single game? It's because it's a very difficult position to get in without being noticed and attacked beforehand. You have to surround without being seen on all the different sides, either 2 sides, 3 sides, or 4 sides, for it to be effective. All right, well, even with this close proximity here between Dark Esports and Team Pinoys, I'm not sure if they are going to engage. It is definitely a bit of a waiting game at the moment. All right. More. All right. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I got to get these clips for content. But it looks like Fish and Nero... Oh, pardon me. Fish and Ketchup are... Ugh, that whole sentence just sounds disgusting. Fish and Ketchup are out of there, while Nero is going to provide the overwatch, trying to hold the opponent off at bay, and maybe even a way out of zone gatekeep here, giving his teammates the time they need to get positioning inside this new zone safely. And I think, this is another, risky strategy, but it does hold weight, especially if there's basically no chance for the full team to evacuate into this new zone on an open map like Miramar anyway. Then yeah, play the sacrificial lamb if you need to. Even as I say that, though, the teammates come back, and that might have been all that for naught. All right. So we're going to potentially catch some action with Fish of Team Pinoys getting uncomfortably close. And I know that this is not good here, but it's a render issue. Yeah, Fish could be getting hunted here, and that's really unfortunate with a spectator issue. But Revenge and Excuse pretty close by as well. And who I feel extra nervous for is Team Boba. Why Boba? Because they've got on their right Excuse, the southbound threat, and Revenge, the northbound threat, and Exceed and Realistic. That is a lot of teams in the close proximity and distance. But as we know to be the case with a map as open as Miramar, your distance surroundings are just as dangerous and need to be accounted for. Let's go ahead and switch over to Team 18, where members of NSYNC, who is it going to be? Kaizen, swimming in a pool of enemies here. He's got Exceed swarming on him, and boom, quickly worked on. Sorry about that highlighter. Quickly worked on. Boom goes the dynamite, all too literally. Now, I think I'm going to switch over to the final stand here for Revenge. Actually, not a final stand. They're still a three-piece standing strong. Looks like Lycan's going off in the distance. Lycan's team 3 here. Haven't had a lot of screen time so far today, but a very well-rehearsed Tier 2 team in my event. They are all too acquainted with the structure and format. They know how it goes. We got Lycan's son on the alt cam doing some work on Zero Remorse, and it's Zero Remorse for Zero Remorse. That nade, or pardon me, Molly, almost crashing onto the opponent, but not hitting them before they were already sent back to lobby. Well, Stars making a stand here. Excuse actually might be a bit distracted. Yeah, I would imagine if I was Excused, I'd be a little bit distracted here with Try Us. So this could be Stars' real opportunity, be it to either grab his teammate and evacuate into zone, or to get that third party off angle and attack a weakened opponent after they get the altercation with whoever they face off against. They're going to be weak. That's the time to strike. All right, well, we have a couple different things on the board. It looks like P-Noise did finish off whoever that was. We got the Lycans and Zero Remorse still preparing to face off against each other. Lycan still a 4-piece. All right. Moon, 8X Mini, not sure what he's... Okay, that's just out of render is all. Oh boy, Revenge. Not a lot of ways of getting revenge if you're going to play the slow play. Oh, but Chosen is downed, leaving it reliant upon Star and Eterno. Well, Star is going to stick the revive, leaving Eterno in charge of Overwatch cover fire. And boy, oh boy, a little bit of high ground goes a long way, especially if you're Rosh from Excuse right now, getting that knock on Eterno, who was not expecting that at all. And luckily for him, he is in close proximity to that doorway, might actually be able to get revived. Looks like Revenge is, or pardon me, Third Eye going off in the distance. I'm curious as to what's happening that way. We'll go quickly switch over. Looks like they have 4 kills to their name between Gunda and SUK. Gunda responsible for 75% of them. Ooh, and the China... no, pardon me. I was going to say China number 1. The CN Eagles facing off and getting another takedown in the distance. CN already reduced down to a 3-piece of Tony B, Baby Tang, and Drago, with 2 kills to their name, 1 to Baby Tang, 1 to Drago, and driving out of the frying pan into the fire as they work their way into zone and quickly towards a potential altercation between Realistic and Overhaul. I'm curious. Yep, the bullets have been fired. Baby Tang making a risky advancement. And wow, firing through the window, getting a takedown on Realistic Chini with a vehicle explosion. Nicely done. All right. Well, now we have a little love triangle forming here as Bubblegum awaits the inevitable push from a full 4-piece in CN Eagles. Outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, and swimming in a pool of enemies. Going to try to utilize a molly to hold the opponent off at the stairway. Kind of that 300 strat. And we'll see if it can pay off. But, you know, realistically, this is a tough fight for him to take on regardless. All the while, Dark Esports facing off against numerous teams and currently providing a little alleviated pressure for Bubblegum and distracting the likes of Overhaul. Overhaul still is a 3-piece of 4-Babe, Kane, and Kahlua here. Kahlua trying to get a little last-minute bandage off and boost maybe before engaging with the altercation upstairs. Boy, Kane could be Bubblegum's, you know, most realistic threat if the other teams kind of push him or her out into that window. Bubblegum is going for it, holding position in a closet. They knew he or she was there, but still able to get the takedown and almost got another one before being eliminated. But hey, if you got to make a final stand, you know, that's not a bad way to leave your mark. Looks like Snipe getting a takedown in the distance. That's members of, pardon me, 9 Cents, Snipe, Noob, and Lay here with 2 kills to their name. And as I say Noob's name, Noob is downed again. Well, Lay trying to provide a little assistance here, utilizing what geographical cover is afforded to them. This little boulder, all that's separating them from a line of fire. But with holding this low ground, they are still very vulnerable to some utility damages and bullet drop from Dark Esports. bullet drops. Probably not the best word for that. Bullets coming from high up. All right, well, Noob is still down here and hurting bad. All the while, Excuse and Exceed having at it on the alt cam. Let's get that up over there. Oop. And Lay just trying to get in positioning here. Snipe a little bit further ahead, but they are currently unknowingly sandwiched in between T-Boba and members of Dark Esports. And Snipe utilizing what geographical cover he can and implementing a smoke on top of it. And guys, that brings me to a great point. Especially on a map as open as Miramar, utilities can be the only savior you have when compound cover and geographical cover is not afforded to you. Those smokes and vehicles can be the absolute difference maker between you and just swallowing a healthy serving of bullets and being sent right on back to that lobby. Noob swallowing a nade right there and thanking his lucky stars that he is alive at all. Brought down to 10% health, but hey, he's still up and able to get that first aid off. All the while, Matt of Excuse going at it in the distance. All right, Dark Esports' Noob with the off angle Mini 14 DMR, putting that extra pressure onto Revenge Eterno off in the distance. And it looks like Boba T having at it as well. We're going to go ahead and catch eyes on Boba T. Pardon me, B-Town. There's T-Boba and B-Town. This is B-Town catching a world of hurt as Katri and Daku are downed, leaving Kiddu as the final hope. And talk about the importance of utilities, just enshrouding his fallen teammate in a cloud of smoke and trying to get this revive. But again, being so close to that compound window, one confident nade and a little bit of luck would have been all it took to take him out. All right, so look at this. Noob holding a great high ground here, but where is the blood going to come from? I still think potentially here, potentially between Excuse and Exceed. So we'll hold both cams open for now. Oh, look at that new whip. That Aston Martin is looking very nice. Oh, well, Noob on the alt cam with utilizing that high ground DMR in perfect form, getting a takedown right there and then, and trying to secure the thirst. Oh, it looks like Excuse is having a tough one. Reduced down to Matt and Matt alone, and this is a great point as well. Ladies and gentlemen, if I am speaking redundantly, it's because I'm trying to get more content for these, but this is, in my opinion, a mistake and error on Matt's end to utilize these tiny little shacks on a map as open as Miramar is basically lining yourself up like fish in a barrel. Katri is down, leaving it up to Kiddu, lining himself up like fish in a barrel, essentially, and asking for a nade. These little four walls give you a false sense of comfort, because realistically, they don't even need to know which side of the shack you're in. All they need is to be close enough to make it go through that little window slit, and it's done for. But Matt, against the odds, getting more takedowns. Now up to 3 of the team's 7 kills. Okay, we're going to switch our attention briefly to the final hope here for 9 cents, which is a bush holder, Mr. Snipe himself. And boy, talk about a tough one to hold a bush cover in. Miramar is not very affordant in it or abundant in these at all. Matt still holding position, somehow still not being focused in, even though B-Town knows where he's at. And Katri is a little preoccupied here, actually, throwing nades at a full 4-piece and Exceed. He has got a real handicap to go up against, as it's just him and Kiddu. It's a 2v4, and if they focus in, if they start dialing in too much on Exceed, it could be a real opportunity for Matt to work his way and migrate up the hill unawares. But ladies and gentlemen, 4 teams spread across 8 people. We are at the end game of round 2. All right, the shots have been fired. Yep, it is a little bit of hesitation being implemented here by both teams. Neither wants to take the other for granted or underestimate them, but this is still at the same time a 2v4 where Exceed outnumbers, outmans, and outguns the entire remainder of the playing field. So this hesitation is a little bit unexpected. This is kind of usually where you see the numbers get aggressive and start using those in your favor. Attack everything together and just swarm in. Go after Katri and Kadu, individually, but while they're that spread apart. You have the numbers in your favor. But Exceed doing things their way, and what's his name being shot down to half health. Not any retaliatory fire given, but it was actually beneath us. And he does get the revenge knock here before being taken down, so he is going to be able to heal back on up. And now the 4v2v1 is in full effect, and just like that, excuse the low ground and that little open field, just too many odds against him. So now, B-Town in a 2v4 against Exceed. Alright, we got Selfless being fired at by Kiddu. Kiddu taken down to half health and only able to dish out about 25% damage to the opponent. Not exactly a great start for it, but can they hold him off? Oh, they get Roy. They get, what's his name? Selfless is almost down. Oh, wow. Well, I gotta say, you can't help but, unintentionally root for an underdog sometimes. And it almost looked for a brief second like they might have been able to pull that off, but outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, and you gotta give it up. Great performance doing that little bit of a slower play here by Team Exceed, and any way you look at it, it's game over as Exceed grabs that gold medal, first place chicken on the tip of their tongue finish with 5 kills. Let's not discredit silver medal, second place holders in B-Town, who also did win, or I believe they won in round 1 as well. So phenomenal performance again, this time with 7 kills between 3 of their players. Well, Excuse said no more excuses. We're going to do a lot better this time. And they worked their way all the way up to the bronze medal third place with 7 kills. 6 of those kills between Matt and Kai. We got 9 cents securing 4th place with 2. Team P-Noise in 5th with 4, 3 of which came from Fish. Dark Esports boasting a very healthy 10 kills all the way down in 6th. So they do get some placement points, but they really helped themselves out with those Elam points for sure. Revenge in 7th place, second to last bracket for placement points, and 4 kills to their name. 1 kill per person. Everybody pulling their weight and doing their fair share. Everybody eats. Let's see. 8th place is going to go to Third Eye. Third Eye, 8 kills, between 3 of their players. We got TB, T-Boba in 9th place with 2. We've got Overhaul coming in 10th place with 3 kills. CN Eagles in 11th with 5. 3 of those 5 came from Baby Tang. Try Us got tried, and it didn't go so well. 12th place, 0 kills. Realistic working their way into 13th with 1 kill to Bubblegum. The Lycans in 14th with 2 kills, 1 to Sun and 1 to Morg. In Sync in 15th place, but with 0 kills to speak of. Zero Remorse has 1 kill in 16th place, going to Monkey. And lastly, 007 has had their license to kill revoked, apparently, as they get last place with 0 kills. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is 2 matches down, done, and out of the way. But we've seen our participants on the very first map ever of Erangel before we worked our way into that dry, open, arid desert of Miramar. But what is going to happen when we can conclude the evening in a complete flip-flop of geography from this match and end things in that lush, condensed jungle/forest? I am, of course, speaking of Sandhawk as we return for our third and final round of my very own RedEyes $450 Dead in July tournament qualifiers for Group C, brought to you and sponsored by, for the very last month, Hunter of Gunmen and Glacier Gaming, as well as Craftin, Lightspeed Studios, and Level Infinite. And we'll be back at you in just a few short moments with that final 600 UC code. Stick around. Be back soon. Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our third and final round for the night for my very own RedEyes $450 Dead in July tournament qualifiers for Group C, brought to you and sponsored by, for the very last month, Hunter of Gunmen and Glacier Gaming, and not for the very last month, Crafton, Lightspeed Studios, and Level Infinite. And we have got this last match being, obviously, you know it, Sandhawk. Now, what do we need to say about a map like Sandhawk? Essentially, the exact opposite of our last match, which was a Miramar, our largest map. Well, this one is our smallest map. Now, technically, Livik, Karakin, and Noosa are all tinier, but we don't really mess with those in the esports scene. So this is the smallest map that we have, meaning that the odds of two teams landing next to each other is going to be a bit higher. But it's also the most condensed map that we have in the game. Now, what do I mean when I say condensed? I mean most lush in vegetation. There's more natural cover to take, more grass to hide inside, and trees and boulders to hide behind. So you have to be alert for a higher than average number of snakes than usual. And the third and final thing is that, this is very opposite of Miramar in that this map is fairly independent on the flight path, meaning that you can get pretty much anywhere you want by deploying your chute early enough. And here we see we are already getting a pretty decent and even spread there. So I think we're going to go ahead and get on into it. Final round. If you're just now tuning in, we still have one more 600 UC code to give away. And oh wow, Royals of War swarming into Paradise with a little love triangle already on their hands as they face off against not just Zero Remorse, but the CN Eagles as well. This is going to be interesting. Oh, Escanor surviving by the hair on his chin thanks to Royne coming in and dealing out that side damage from the off angle there, basically saving his life, all the while Overhaul going at it in the distance. We got Allende trying to creep on up, get a little bit of an off angle here, and maybe catch members of Zero Remorse unawares, but it looks to me like the third threat there in Team 13, of course, I'm speaking of CN Eagles. Well, the Eagle has left the nest. They are going to maybe weigh their options and dip on out of Paradise and work their way into zone. So I'm going to switch on over to, because we have just too many potential early game confrontations to choose from. Currently, we got Third Eye playing the deli meat in this peanut butter and trouble sandwich. And guess who the bread is? None other than B-Town and members of 007 Esports. And especially considering the spread that B-Town has on these guys, with that 3-1 off-angle split, it could spell real trouble to Third Eye if they get focused in on members of 007 too much or even at all. But looks like Excuse and Revenge having at it, so we'll go catch that on the alt cam. Yeah, we've got actually Excuse driving out of away from whatever altercation that was. Ooh, Gunda downed right in front of us by Kiddu, leaving it relying on Jadong and SUK here, and this is going to be interesting. We're seeing Jadong desperately trying to secure a revive on his fallen teammate, all the while Overhaul just doing monster work. I see it in the distance, Overhaul. I will pull you up on the main, or the alt cam here, just so we don't miss anything. And Overhaul has done everything that they needed to there. They've already finished that altercation. My apologies. So I think we'll go to a member of Revenge. We got Eterno just swimming in a pool of Realistic members. And this could be an opportunity if Jelly, the member of Realistic on the right, has the opportunity to potentially, the opportunity to rotate northbound over Eterno. That would have given the off angle. However, Eterno's already out, leaving everything reliant on Chosen, their final hope. So, all for naught. But, wow, gosh, Third Eye, I don't even really blame them for being just a little bit reserved here. They don't really have a viable escape route out of this. And 007 could potentially engage with members of B-Town. Potentially. That could give Third Eye... No, as I say it, this honestly almost even seems like it was an unintentional let's team up on Third Eye kind of situation. There's just no escape route available to them. They're going to have to take this fight on whether they like it or not. And SUK just awaiting an inevitable push. But look here. We got Katri potentially... Oh, pardon me. Katri potentially about to catch an off angle on 007 Messiah. And looks like this is it. B-Town's going to make their move here and now. Kiddu at the forefront of this, out looking for blood. He's hunting, and he's got 007 as his target. Ooh, I take that back. It's going to be a third eye target, and that third eye getting wide open here. The old gangsters, in just a matter of seconds, went from a full 4-piece to reduce down to just Katri alone. And boy, oh boy, Katri coming in guns a-blazing, but almost eliminated off the first one and immediately taken out afterwards, where he was just too weakened, outnumbered, outmanned, and outgunned in that position. All right. So maybe we'll switch a little closer up, see if there... Yeah, no one from Zero Remorse is alive anymore. This spectator glitch is just... It is what it is. Hopefully they get this taken care of soon. J-Don, the final hope for Third Eye. That Third Eye still open. And look at this. I mean, talk about a final stand. You know, they came in, took on a 3v4, lost some members, and still putting up this final fight and doing a pretty darn good job, in my opinion. Pardon me. Yeah, it was the 3v4. And, however, that 5th kill is not gonna happen. But, hey, not a bad final performance on their end. So, leaves me to beg the question, where's our next bit of blood going to come from? I'm thinking probably... yeah, is their Team 4 still alive? No, they're not. So, yeah, it's going to be down south. Probably between P-Noise 9 Cents or P-Noise Try Us, or potentially a little bit higher up where members of Revenge, you know, have an opportunity to engage if they, I guess the final member of Revenge had an opportunity to engage Realistic if he was feeling like, you know, being eliminated and sent back to lobby. Ooh, actually, here we go. Exceed and Realistic about to have at it with one another. And that is definitely something I want to catch. So, just to get a better idea, yeah, it's going to be Chocoberry here at the forefront of this push against a fairly spread out Exceed. And this is going to exemplify something here. You know, there's so much, you know, geographical cover here on this map that you can be in such close proximity to your opponent without them necessarily even knowing. You can have... There's snakes in the grass everywhere, so you gotta watch your step, so to speak. And Chocoberry is very much that sneaky little jungle snake with a bit of high ground in his favor as well. So Selfless is gonna have to be playing it a little cautiously if he knows what's good. So, where should we be tuned into? This has got it. Oh, well, actually, we got Royals of Wars, Escanor, fairly spread out from the remainder of his team. It's actually a 2-1-1 split, and they very might likely have to deal with the threat behind them in CN Eagles, and that could be really unfortunate. Generally, when you're heading into safe zone, accounting for that backside at this stage of it, probably less likely. I doubt that they are expecting to find much confrontation behind them. So more than likely, they're going to have their heads facing forward, and that could be a real opportunity for CN Eagles. But Lycan's going at it. We got Moon getting a takedown on 007 Messiah, and Morg adding onto it with a takedown on Scar. And keep in mind, Lycan's fairly spread out in this position here, and still a full 4-piece. And if you know my spiels, ladies and gentlemen, you know what's coming. You cannot place enough emphasis on being a full 4-piece, especially come in-game. Well, Team P-Noise in a battle of utilities against 9 Cents, and we got Ketchup trying to add a little sauce to it. And, ooh, it's actually going to be Garcia who does that little bit of damage, but can Lay get this revive before this push? No, he's weighed his options and already knows it's coming. With Ketchup on the side. Oh, wow. Pun intended. That's a good coincidental joke. Ketchup on the side. He's still going to go for this risky revive. This is an error on P-Noise's end, a bit of hesitation, and it's really going to be unneeded assistance, you know, to give 9 Cents that extra time to get that revive. Puts them in a potential bit of trouble here. Garcia is down as a result. Case and point. Lethal downed again. Lay coming in upon a weekend catch-up with the high ground. Quick work. Boy, paying off in spades for 9 Cents getting that revive. It was a real error on Team P-Noise's end. That was almost their undoing from this match, so to speak. So let that be a lesson. Yes, there's caution. Always exercise a bit of caution to the wind, but also you can't be afraid to make those aggressive pushes after you've made those gains and got those knocks. All right. Well, we got realistic Cheney going off in the distance. Ooh. Lay and Snipe pushing up to a two-piece of P-Noise, but they are a full team, just a little spread out. Well, Exceed down to one member, as I said it, is down to Roy, and he's up in a 1v2 with no health to speak of, and just ganged up on with a third party from Dark Esports all the way across from the other mountain. Oof. Nowhere safe. All right. Well, this could be an opportunity for Dark Esports to catch members of Realistic unawares here. And Realistic is in a bit of a hurt position with 2 weakened members and 1 knocked. It's going to have to prioritize a revive and meds. That's just giving Dark Esports time to creep on up without being checked on potentially. And it looks like Dark Esports is going to go ahead and try to secure the thirst onto Jelly. We just had Ketchup eliminated. Now we're saying hold the Jelly. All right. Yeah, is Dark Esports going to make the most of this moment? Looks like they are creeping forward a little bit, but a little too far out to make that. Oh, I stand corrected. It's a 2-2 split. It's a distraction. This is great by Dark Esports. Very clever to catch those both angles. And this is going to be the BOA method, even though Chocoberry knew that Ronaldo and Noob were heading the other direction. It's still favoring against them. And there's the panic factor. Jelly just so lucky to have already realized what was going on and have gotten a little bit of a escape route there, but golly. Oh, pardon me. What am I saying? Switching over to the wrong team. Noob with the off-angle high ground coming in and laying waste. He says, enough of this nonsense. I am going to wreck house. And P22 should be using this opportunity to heal, but he instead fires away, keeping that panic factor off, but he is going to be pretty weakened at this point, you know, and one nade thrown at this boulder could be it. He's got to make that aggressive push if he wants to secure that thirst. And look at this. 2 stay still, 1 to each side. This is amazing by 9 Cents under pressure. Now it's leaving it all upon the high ground holder of Noob, desperately trying to retreat to the cover of this compound. But now facing in a 1v4 in a situation where they were looking much more stable only a minute and a half, 2 minutes earlier. Now it's all him and having to face off against a situation outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, and there it is. Not paying off as well. Well, no one knew that fish could be snakes at the same time, but fish knew. We got a love triangle forming on the outside, very edge of that blue zone. Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, if you are familiar with a RedEyes event, that you know these zone damages are boosted, the zone speed are sped up. You do not want to try to pull the heal strat in a Sandhawk match in a RedEyes event. And I have said that every single stream, every single live event stream for almost 2 years, and we still have people making that error. So consider that my freebie to the viewers. No heal strats, because they are not going to work very well. Well, TB is getting a rough bit of damage dealt to them. Now reduced down to half of their starting team. And as I say it, the ninja has fallen, leaving Safety as the final hope. I hope you believe in caster curses, ladies and gents. It's real. They believe in you. Well, Safety in a 1v4? Or, pardon me. Yes, it is a 1v4. Lycans are a full 4-piece with 10 teams remaining, 20 people on the board. Lycans, one of the few full 4-pieces remaining, and just swarming upon Safety like mosquitoes in a North Carolina summer, and Safety stood no chance. That candle was burning bright. All right, so where should we... Wow, excuse the only team holding this new zone and has the only compound cover. Talk about prime real estate. Well, they got it in spades. Excuse has the opportunity to gatekeep from every angle here, but let's see. Is this high ground? No, it's low ground. So, while they do have the only compound cover afforded, or the only main piece of compound cover afforded, as you can see, there's a little bit more on the playing field than just that. There's a few buildings off in the distance. Ooh! Chosen catching the off angle on Dark Esports and firing away, but quickly retaliated on by Amrit and Noob, going to exemplify the benefits of those 2-2 splits. Not putting all your eggs in that one basket can really pay off. Well, CN Eagles having at it up against the Lycans, and it's all down to Quinny Poo. It's one Quinny Poo against 4 Lycans, and that is not a favorable odd for him to be engaging in. And I think he's going to have to leave Draco here to be the sacrificial lamb. Quinny Poo cannot suck up much more blue juice, and he learned it quick. Now look at this. Excuse finally getting their first kill, but still a full 4-piece, and with the best, yes, the best cover, and it's afforded them with a little bit of luck too, as the new zone has shifted, and it does favor these compounds. Now they basically do have the only compounds remaining in the zone, aside from... no, that's it. That's the only compounds in this zone. And now all the favor is in excused for a potential gatekeep. The only thing that could be problematic is if they were to engage upon the Lycans, who have the high ground coming in. It could spell an opportunity for Fish of Pinoys, who also has high ground, only if they're visible through a window. But look at Sun aggressively coming for him, and boy, that sunset early as the Lycans are eliminated just like that. We are left here with a 1v4, and Excuse has nothing left to do but go fishing. It's the final stages of our last match. Here we go. 1v4. Can Fish pull it off? Or will he be fishing a barrel? Dad jokes in full effect. Let those bad jokes drums roll. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. That fish has been caught. That is that. Excuse, what a turnaround. Having that rough go early on and really making up for it in full form. Getting that first place Sandhawk finish. That's the, placement points out the wazoo, but add 6 eliminations to it as well. Well, I don't want to forget, and I know you don't want me to forget. So, for the last time tonight, we'll be giving out another 600 UC code. Keep in mind, it's only good for one redemption. You have to click on the link pinned to the top of the YouTube chat. First come, first serve. I hope you're ready. Let's get it. The final code is CKEQZ0LZ94J. Good luck. Well, Team Pinoys grabbing second place with 2 kills, both of which came from Fish. And talk about a fish in the water. Right? You know, you always say fish out of the water as the metaphor, but he was able to survive long enough to give them the second place placement points. That's going to be huge for them, especially considering they only were able to chip in 2 elims. And for the record, those go to Fish too. So it was a heavy backpack for round 2. The Lycans howling their way into 3rd place with 7 kills. Not bad. Good placement, great points, and 4 of those kills go to Morgalone. It's really going to help out. Dark Esports, 4th place with 7. CN Eagles landing in 5th place with 4 kills, half of which go to Baby Tang. We got 9 cents in 6th with 6. How fitting. Royals of War in 7th with 5. Coming in 8th, it's going to be none other. Oh, pardon me. I think we can get the codes off now. Coming in 8th, it's going to be none other than Revenge. And no revenge this time. 1 kill from Chosen. We got Realistic in 9th place with 2 kills. Coming in 10th, it's going to be T-Boba, pardon me. And that's going to be with 4 kills, half of which go to Safety there. Safety was the one who was able to stay alive the longest too, but also get that last little extra kill at the end to help out. We got Trius in 11th place with 4 kills. 3 of those 4 go to P22. Exceed having a rough go of it again. This time not exceeding expectations as 12th place going with 1 kill to what's his name. And gotta do it. Gotta do it. All right. 13th place, the License to Kill. 13th going to 007 Esports with 4 kills between Puma and Messiah. We got In Sync going bye right on back to lobby with 0 kills. That third eye got closed in 15th place with 4 kills, 3 of which go to J-Don. We got B-Town in 16th place with 1 kill from Kiddu. Overhaul in 17th with 2 kills. And lastly, Zero Remorse, last place, and a big old onion for kills. It's a rough pill to swallow for the final match, but sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. But ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude our event for the night. And after these scores come out, we will know who our 12 finalists moving forward to the $450 final event on July 30th, 9 p.m. EST will be. Who wanted it enough? Who came ready to get sweaty to join those Tier 1, 8 Tier 1 professional teams to duke it out for that $450 prize pool come Sunday, July 30th. I believe, actually, hold up. Yep, Sunday, July 30th at 9 o'clock p.m. EST, and that's going to be exclusively right here on YouTube. And you guys know we're doing more UC code giveaways, and we're going to spice it up a little bit for the finals. So we'll do a UC code per match. We're giving away 4 UC codes at our finals. So I hope to see you guys there. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't yet, please do remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you're ever interested in participating in my tournament, this is the 2nd longest recurring North American community tournament in the region. So this is going to be moving into, this is currently our 30th month. And so we'll be entering our 31st installment with a brand new announcement next month. And you can register for that when registration opens by going to www.redeyesofficial.com. It's just a forward link to my Discord. And in the meantime, guys, I hope you all have a great night. Have fun, be safe, and be kind to one another. See you next time.